On this edition of Lexington Now, new developments in the Gainesway neighborhood, the 2050 transportation plan, and the life and legacy of Lewis and Harriet Bell Hayden. I'm Neil Noah, and welcome to Lexington Now for the week of March 25th, 2024. We start this week off with a pair of projects in Lexington's Gainesway neighborhood. The first is a project which will continue Lexington's work to improve our sanitary sewers. Here's more.
In a few weeks, the sanitary sewer project will move into high gear with a week-long closure of this very intersection, followed by several weeks when Green Tree Road will be closed. We're taking a moment right now to talk to you about what's happening here and across our city to improve our sanitary sewers. Back in 2011, Lexington started working on its storm and sanitary sewers after our city was sued by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the state for being in violation of the Clean Water Act. With 52 sanitary projects complete, we have about 28 to go, including this one. There are 14 other projects currently active in locations across our city. This project here in Gainesway is a really good example of the importance of this work. We know 2 sanitary sewer manholes have overflowed nearly 150 times in this area, just since 2011. Lexington's sanitary sewers transport wastewater from homes and businesses to one of our city's 2 wastewater treatment plants. Normally, the water is cleaned before being released from the plants into local creeks. However, sanitary sewer overflows from sewer manholes can occur when rainwater enters the sanitary sewer system, overloading its capacity. The manholes overflow and sewage runs into the streets or into our streams. That's what has been happening here and in many places around our county. Sanitary sewer overflows pollute our creeks and are a health hazard. With the Green Tree project, the city's replacing and upsizing our sanitary sewer lines. This project runs on Green Tree from Armstrong Mill Road to New Circle Road. Now, we know these projects can be inconvenient to people who live here and a little painful. It's important to remember, though, that we're protecting the environment and cleaning up our city. That's worth some short-term inconvenience.
We're keeping the road open as long as we can for local traffic for sure. And because we have so many homes that are all around us here, and that's one of the things that's really helped out. Even on Green Tree, all the way down to Armstrong Mill Road, I've been following that all. It's been almost a year since we started down there. But the contractor and the city has really worked together to keep the road open to the local people. And when it's all said and done, we're going to have a corridor here on Green Tree that's going to look real good. It's going to be repaved, sidewalks fixed.
This is part of the overall consent decree project, which I believe is the largest public works project that Lexington's ever undertaken. The original cost estimate was in the neighborhood of $600 million, stretched out over the course of 15 years. This one here is about $8.1 million worth of work. As the mayor mentioned before, we've got a couple of chronic overflows that happen during wet weather that this will be abating. There are several more that are on the other side of New Circle that this pipeline will provide capacity for to eliminate them in the future. So all these things go together. We call this West Hickman Trunk E. I know we mentioned this as Green Tree because most people know where that is. But the West Hickman's drainage area all goes to the treatment plant in Jessamine County. And so we built storage tanks and we started working our way up the hill. New pipeline in Veterans Park, new pipeline that goes under Man of War, one that came all the way up here to Armstrong Mill. So this is just another segment of the overall fix that is, it's not providing capacity for new development. This is all a pretty stable area. It's for all the water that seems to get into the system when it rains, and instead of it getting out of the system and into the creeks, it stays in the pipe and goes to the treatment plant like it's supposed to.
The second project is a new playground being built in Gainesway Park. We joined Mayor Gorton and other city officials for the groundbreaking.
We are here to officially break ground on an exciting new playground for this park. Here at Gainesway, families and kids will be treated to multiple motion play pieces, more swings, everybody loves swings, and a new climbing feature. The playground will be more interactive and accessible than ever before, and that, of course, is very important to us all. We expect the playground to open in late spring. It will benefit the neighborhood as well as the schools. This is one of many playground upgrades and redesigns we've been rolling out across the city in the past couple of years. Funding the Gainesway Playground involved a partnership among the city, several council members, the private sector, and the Housing Authority. Partnerships are solving problems, supporting improvements, and creating new opportunities in so many parts of our city. And we certainly learned during the pandemic how important partnerships are to getting anything done.
There are many improvements to celebrate here in addition to the new playground behind us. A project was recently completed to improve drainage on much used paved trail here also, so there's a lot of other things going on. This park, it's got a lot of activity, it's got a lot of promise, and it's really working out. We've got 3 schools right here that surround us. The elementary and the middle school in particular use this park. They've used the playground that we had here before, the existing one, and then this one right here is going to be an upgrade and really be up to par for what we are doing in other parts of the city, and a good park for the community.
Gainesway is really unique. Our community center here, led through the leadership of Adrian and Laura and Anthony and Megan, see about 50 to 55 kids every day come through the center. And they're of all ages. They're elementary, middle, and high school kids that come and participate in activities and programming, and we're heavily involved in selecting the pieces that we'll see here at this playground when we open it later this summer. Our teams also really activate the park with programming, including soccer and football, obstacle courses, tennis, and scavenger hunts. So their ability to be involved in not only the park every day, but planning for the park for the future, in spinners that are going to go in the playground, and multiple swing sets, and poured-in-place surfacing that improves accessibility for all. We're so grateful for the leadership here at the community center and that activation of this park. You know, our neighborhoods are really the heartbeat of our city, and investing in the fabric and in the infrastructure of playgrounds and green space and community centers makes our neighborhoods better.
3, 2, 1.
Hey!
Oh, you almost got her.
When we come back, we'll tell you how you can help shape the future of transportation.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant Chris Van Brackle with the Lexington Police Department Traffic Unit. Today we are talking about disability accessible parking and the aisles between those parking places. Accessible parking is a valuable and necessary resource for people with disabilities, and that includes the striped area next to accessible parking spots. These are access aisles, and it is illegal to park here, even if you have an accessible parking permit. Police in LexPark will write tickets when they see vehicles parked in an access aisle or parked in an accessible space without a placard, and the fine is $250. Know where and where not to park. Keep the access aisles clear. Thank you, and drive safe.
Welcome back to Lexington Now. The 2050 Transportation Plan is taking shape, and the Lexington Area Metropolitan Planning Organization wants your feedback. Christopher Avila tells us how.
We are representing the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is a federal program for transportation planning covering Fayette and Jessamine counties. And our reason for existence is to make sure that we have local input into decision making involving federal highway and public transportation dollars. What we're talking about today is one of our long-range planning documents called the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. It's required to look out 25 years into the future and identify what our regional needs are during that period of time and how our region intends to use federal highway and public transportation dollars to address some of those needs. Now, the other thing that this plan is intended to do is look at the entire transportation system, identify how folks would be getting from point A to point B during that time, and how to make sure that folks can do that safely and in a reasonable amount of time. So we have a draft of that document on our website, www.lexareampo.org, and we're asking folks to take a look at that document and give us some feedback. Did we hit the mark? Are there things missing that need to be included in there? Are there projects that perhaps are a lesser priority than what have been identified? Now, the one challenge we have here is that document is a fiscally constrained document, so we have to be able to realistically afford what's being proposed. So that's one of the challenges that we have to identify as well. We do have public listening sessions that you can find by going to our website, but we are accepting comments through April 15th. And the policy committee, who governs the MPO, mostly elected officials, will be making decisions on adopting that plan on April 24th. These are come and go sessions. We'll have information about the plan and what's being recommended at those sessions. Folks can come and go at their convenience, and we will have staff there to be able to answer any questions. But we also have opportunities for folks to provide comments on the draft plan there as well. We do have to be realistic in what's being proposed, and most importantly, what we can actually afford. And we do have a financial forecast that we perform to kind of estimate how much in federal dollars, but also state and local resources to be able to move some of these priorities forward. There have been a lot of highway-focused projects in the past, but we're kind of transitioning more towards other modes of transportation, especially modes that are cleaner, help us with our air pollution and climate change goals, certainly greenhouse gas emissions, trying to get to net zero carbon emissions by 2050. We've also heard a lot of folks saying we would like more access to high quality public transportation services. Also, for the folks who are dependent on that transit system, would like to see additional investment in public transportation. So we do have certain recommendations to be able to provide additional services, to reduce the travel times, to also improve the frequency of transit services, and also to improve the wheel service, which we've heard a lot of input about as well. We're also focusing a lot on safety. So we've adopted a Vision Zero goal to eliminate fatal and serious injury crashes by 2050. And so the projects that are most beneficial in helping us get to that point are the projects that are kind of bubbling to the top in our priority list. Now, we're also looking at a lot of bike ped projects and trying to make every street within Lexington what we call a complete street. and basically making sure that all potential users of the system are able to use that system safely and comfortably.
Last week, we told you about a new monument coming to Lexington's East End, celebrating the role of Lewis and Harriet Hayden in the Underground Railroad. This week, we bring you more on their life and legacy.
One of the things that has surprised me about Lewis Hayden, on October the 1st, 1844, his owner said that he knew Lewis had escaped, but he didn't know where he was. He hadn't heard from him. Lewis responded to him on October the 27th. He hired a secretary to send a letter back to Thomas Grant and Lewis Baxter, his owners, and said, "By now, you have discovered my absence, and I'm going to tell you why and where." And he proceeded to do that. He also talked to Harriet Beecher Stowe and gave her his life story, written in a key to Uncle Tom's Cabin. It's all there. It's documented. We're not making it up. He also wrote a letter back to Sidney Howard Gay, who was a newspaper editor, National Anti-Slavery Standard. Henry Clay was campaigning, and he made the comment that he was a friend to the slave. Lewis Hayden, oh no. Lewis Hayden says in 1847, still a fugitive slave, that "I hope you're never a friend of Henry Clay and fall into his hands as a slave." And this is why. He gives details. He talks about his first wife and child having been bought by Clay and then sold by Clay. He gave details about where his wife had been enslaved on Thomas Clay's farm, Henry Clay's son, with the Mentill family across the street, the French couple, and then back to Henry Clay, where she gave birth, lost her child. Henry Clay sold her 3 weeks later. And Hayden says, he asked politely, "Why did you do this?" "I bought them and I sold them," was the response. How could this man, enslaved, that most people want to believe enslaved people are dumb, stupid, and ignorant. This does not speak of a person who is not capable of reasoning, not capable of passion, not capable of love. And most enslaved people had those traits. This is why I think Lewis and Harriet Hayden's story is going to resonate and spread throughout our city, our state, and the nation, because it gives us a more balanced picture of individuals who were having to deal with adverse conditions, cruel, inhuman treatment, but yet, through love, through compassion, through humanity, they saw fit and willing and wanting to help others. The Haydens helped 100 fugitive slaves before the Civil War. That's a lot of people through your house. And there are records of those enslaved families. The Vigilance Committee had a secretary, Mr. Jackson. He kept detailed records. A lot of this is online. You just have to go look. And as we continue to share his story, you'll see more of that on our website. And if you will go to the website, Ms. Tessmer has been our web manager. She's done a fabulous job posting information, so please look at it frequently and learn. There's several videos on there, but she's also provided some of the history. Lewis and Harriet Hayden's time has come.
Council is on spring break, but there's still some live meeting coverage this week here and streaming on our website. And remember, you can find all the most accurate and up-to-date information on all city business at lexingtonky.gov. Here's this week's meeting coverage. That's all for now, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media. Check out the latest traffic updates on X at LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it.